So I'm pretty sure the last thing that Abby and I did on the channel was the Traxxas X-Max. That should be the last video you guys have seen. And that is an expensive RC truck. Not everybody out there can afford one, and honestly it took me and Abby years to save up enough to finally pull the trigger on those big vehicles. Now they are fun, but I have always said and always will be an advocate for getting anybody into the hobby. And in order to do that, sometimes you have to look at some budget vehicles. You know what? The first vehicles Abby and I bought were about this price, right around $115, $120, ready to run, and they were big 10th scale short course trucks that were total crap, honestly. I mean, they were garbage, but they were still fun. We broke stuff, we stripped gears all the time on them, but we still got out and ran them, and that's what triggered our entire past 7 years of doing this channel. So I'm always going to be an advocate for trying to get someone into the hobby on a dime, comparatively to the Traxxas X-Max. Now this being the size that it is, it's not quite a 10th scale, it's probably more like a 16th scale, but it is ready to run completely, and it's a cool little desert buggy, which is one of my new favorite styles of RCs, because
it's not just a desert buggy, it's a desert champion. Let's be clear.
Nice. 4-wheel drive, and again 100% ready to run. That means it comes with a radio, it also comes with the battery to run the vehicle and a charger. Now this is a brushed motor RC. And generally for bashers, most of the time people want brushless motors, but this is where they're cutting on costs some. Now, at $115, this one is slightly on the higher end of the budget for a 16th scale basher, so Abby and I are hoping that it performs pretty well. We get all the full functionality on the radio that you would expect, with throttle trim, steering trim, dual rates actually, and here are the trim things up on top. You can even reverse the throttle and steering if you want to. Abby and I actually had this vehicle.
There's some buttons.
Couple buttons, yeah, there's a binding button. Yeah. Abby and I had, there's no lights on this or anything. We had the, I think there was a short course truck version of this that we drove and raced around a high school track. But today we're kind of limited on access where we can run. And recently we bashed a couple cheap budget vehicles here, and we had a great time doing it because this dirt, this gravel stuff, when you kick it up, it makes some cool patterns. We brought the baby ramp. We're just here to test this vehicle and let you guys know if it's worth your hard-earned money. If you're thinking about getting into the hobby, you don't have $300 to blow on one of these RCs, this is a good price point to look at. This is kind of unique. So these two body clips come out, and then this was really strange. You have to push this whole thing that hinges. See these two holes right here? Uh-huh. Then there are these little tabs right down here, if you can see them, right there.
Yeah.
You have to swing that down, but then you push the whole thing back some to get those holes to line up. Then it kind of pushes forward in place, and now these two body clips can go down in these holes.
That's
and then
weird.
It is strange, but it works, and I've never seen a hinged body work like that before, but you know what? It gets the job done, so let's try. Now, a cheaper RC, a lot of times people want to know if it's fully proportional or not. This is fully proportional steering with a servo saver in there, and fully proportional throttle, which means you can go nice and slow if you want, almost crawling, all the way up to full throttle. It feels pretty fast. It feels like we're going to be able to, this might be the best performing thing we've driven here so far. We'll see though. That is full throttle. Kind of feels a little sluggish, honestly, but it's getting around okay. I kind of like the white wheels. Do you, Abby?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. On this one, it looks good. Every now and then when I do those tight donuts, that is a piece of gravel getting locked up. That is weird, isn't it? Gravel locks up on these wheels a lot. Let's turn our throttle dual rates all the way up, because that was right in the middle. That's turned up. I'm not noticing a huge difference, but I'll leave it there. I like it turned up. Let's hit that ramp. And then of course you've got to drive this. There, look at that. It keeps getting locked up. A little gravel gets locked in the wheel. There we go. Oh, hit it the first time.
Oh, it didn't take it very well. Nice. I thought that's my job.
It is, but that back tire just got locked up with the gravel. Look at it. It just keeps getting locked.
It just wants to do donuts,
oh,
Nathan.
Man, look at it. Look at the back right tire.
Oh.
I just want to take a closer look. and make sure that's what's happening. Yeah, there's just gravel getting thrown in there.
Oh man.
And then it locks it up.
I didn't think we would have that trouble with this vehicle. I mean, it seems like this is really fine gravel for the most part.
That is weird. It could be the rear diff, Abby. I mean, it feels like something.
It's locked.
It feels like there's it's not just in the wheel. It's not.
Yeah.
That's not gravel. That doesn't feel right. That feels like the gear is stripped in there or something. We may only have. I think they've got something too tight in here. Because to me it feels like there's some struggle going on. I don't know, you drive it. You tell me what you think.
Okay.
There's definitely something weird about the throttle. It feels kind of funky.
Oh, it is a brush motor.
I know. Yeah, I know. You'll see though. You'll see. Play around with it for a minute.
I guess I'm just surprised that it's this price with a brush motor.
I agree. I feel like it should be around the $90 mark.
Like if this was a 10th scale with a brush motor at $115, fine. But a 16th scale with a brush motor, yes, I keep missing the ram.
That's all right. I'm not super impressed with this. I'm not saying it's a bad vehicle, but we have to compare it to similar things on the market.
Like WL Toys has a few buggies that are way more fun than this.
Yeah, and
this is full throttle.
Think back to the Dromeda days. At least if you were going to pay $100 for a vehicle, you would get a quality name brand of Dromeda. So unfortunately, they're not around anymore because Hobbyco's not around anymore. I mean, they are, but they're definitely getting like sold out piece by piece. And oh, this poor little thing, 115 bucks. Let's. Well, you just drove the X-Max, and you're going to this. Unfortunately, we broke a part on our X-Max, and a couple parts for it will cost about the same as this, so the guy is ready to run.
Yep. I want to talk about
So here's something to think about too. Let's say you do drop $950 on an X-Max, and then you break something, you really are going to be out maybe 30 or 40 bucks on average to repair it. And it breaks often. This,
what am I doing?
Because it's so slow, because it's like so slow comparatively, but still, I guess, fairly quick for its scale, it's going to be fairly unlikely to break something. And because it's just a 16th scale four-wheel drive RC, you can find parts very easily. Maybe not for this brand, but
you might not break things.
Are you full throttle?
Yes, this is full throttle the whole time. It's really slow.
That is just barely chugging along.
But I feel like this will just slowly start falling apart. Like,
this one right here?
Randomly something will fall off.
Well, I don't know that like the tire is going to just fall off at this speed and stuff, but I can tell you that you may have gearing issues in here. I think that it's acting like a bad battery, but Abby,
this is full throttle.
Hold on, let's show them this thing. When I got this out of the box, which was this morning, first time opening it, I charged the battery, and it comes with a wall charger, a European though, and I had to use one of our little converters. Boy, that just feels acting like a weak battery if that's full throttle.
It's full throttle and it's very, very dead.
There's a lot about this that I'm not impressed with, starting with the price. You haven't had the tire long. There it goes. There, you got it once. Yeah. So then maybe it is a rock.
What is it doing? It's the right tire.
Okay, now stop it there, and you just play with that right tire, and you'll see what I'm saying. Just twist it.
There is a rock.
Okay, so you got a rock in there.
So let's get
a rock is
out.
causing the locking. Okay.
Now it should.
Yeah. So it's due to rocks, but let's look at this. We have been known to be human before and miss a speed or rate button on here. You guys tell me what you think. This is not a button. We have throttle rate all the way up.
That's binding.
That's binding. And on top, that's all we have. I see no rates. We've had this radio before, 4 AA's. And yeah, we're not having any. That is, this is now full throttle. I definitely had more punch when you, before you drove it. Let's see, I'm gonna turn throttle rates all the way down. Okay, you know what, that feels opposite. So when I took it clockwise and blasted it.
It should be all the way up.
Right, I didn't notice any difference, but watch this, when I go all the way back, counterclockwise, I have forward motion now. Now when I give it full throttle, that's what we're at. So
still slow.
Still slow. I think that's maybe like reversed or something, but
That's
this
weird.
is what we do on our channel. Sometimes Abby and I go into something like this thinking, well, hey, at that price, maybe it's a quality 16th scale vehicle. Unfortunately, that's even at $90, I probably would not recommend that because I know there's just better stuff out there.
Yep.
More bang for your buck. So what we'll do, we don't do this often, but we'll link this down there below. But Abby and I, I'm sure we can find something we liked a lot more.
Oh yeah, like a bazillion things we like
We'll
more.
link a favorite thing, one of our personal favorites that's in the same category and a better price most likely. So that way you guys have a recommendation.
And the video on the end screen will be one too.
There you go. Good. Yeah. I'm grateful that we're here today. It's kind of cold today, a little chilly, but it's beautiful, isn't it? I mean,
Yes.
Just beautiful. I love springtime. That's what's so unfortunate about the whole situation we're all in, not getting to enjoy springtime, but hopefully through our videos, you guys are getting to enjoy a little bit of scenery and getting out and enjoy RC with us. And I want to thank God for that. We're just here. We're here today. We also chose today and here because there's nobody around for miles. This is a school, but it's shut down, so no one's here. Really cool to be here, and I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I especially want to thank all of our patrons, all of our supporters from $1 or more. I know we've had a lot of people sign up lately, and I sincerely thank you for that. Abby and I are slightly behind on our stickers, getting them out to you guys. But let's face it, we've had our hands kind of full. We're going to get them out, okay? Just a heads up, I've had a few people ask about them, especially our new patrons. They are coming to you. We're keeping great track of it, but they're coming to you. So huge thanks again to all of our patron supporters, especially these names that are scrolling by right now. There's some of our top tier patrons, and I just want to say a special thanks to you guys. It means the world to us that you're helping us out so much. Well, as the video's ending and the cartoon versions of us are popping up right about now, there's a video that is popping up in the middle of the screen. It's just a much better vehicle than the one we have here. We'd love it if you guys check that out. Thanks for watching. See you then.
Bye!